Hey guys, welcome back to TC Cards, and today we have a different type of video. I got my first graded submission back from Electric Grading Company. I was going to do a blind reveal, but got excited when the mail came in and just couldn't wait. I went ahead and looked at everything, but we're going to show you guys what I submitted one by one here. We have 4 more modern cards and 6 more vintage cards, and what I mean by vintage is 1970s. Basketball and hockey. So we'll start with the first one. First card here we have, this is the 2001 Victory Ichiro Suzuki rookie card. One of his more well-known rookie cards. It came back a 9. Out of all the cards, I was pretty sure this one was probably going to get a 10. I really don't know what was wrong with the card. The only thing I could really see is the centering on the back wasn't the 100%, but maybe there was a corner or some surface that I missed. But I thought this was a pretty solid card and should have got a 10. Estimated value at about a 9 is only about 20 bucks on this. Obviously, when I estimate the value, I'm taking a little less than the big 3 of, PSA, SGC, and BGS. So this card's about 20 bucks. And the total submission was a 10 card submission, 10 bucks a card, 15 business day turn time plus 15 shipping, so $115 total. So here we have our first 9. That will go in the 9 pile here. So next we have a Nate Archibald. This is a 1975 Topps All-Star card. And this came back an 8.5, which this was my most pleasant surprise of the submissions, getting an 8.5 on a vintage. Based off the comps I'm seeing, this is about $100 card, maybe a little less because it's less known grading company. But give or take $100 card for All-Star Hall of Fame basketball player vintage. Can't really complain. Most of the vintage I sent, I was anticipating only getting between 5 and 7 on most of those. So next we have Scotty Bowman, probably the best hockey manager ever. And this came back a 5.5, which is kind of disappointing. I knew the centering was really off on this one, but I thought the corners and the surface was pretty solid. So I don't know if I missed some corner wear or some surface wear, but I knew the centering was off, but I didn't think that would justify getting a 5.5. I was hoping for at least a 6.5, 7, because the corners and the surface seemed pretty sharp. But best hockey coach probably in history. Probably only about a $20 card. So worth getting in slab just to preserve the history. Next we have 1975 Topps Pete Maravich. Obviously been news lately because of his potential record going down. This came back a 5.5, which I knew wasn't going to be a good grade. Just the centering is garbage on the front, and the centering is garbage on the back. You can kind of see the next card being printed on here, which I'm surprised some companies won't even grade that. They'll just call it misprint. But 5.5, not a huge surprise on the grade, but want to preserve the history and get it in the slab. Next, this is a Bobby Orr career highlights. This is a 1974-75 first team All-Stars card. Came back a 7, which, give or take $55-$60 card. I was happy this came back a 7. I thought this was going to come back like a 5 or a 6. So can't complain about getting a 7 in anything vintage. Next, here's our next modern card. This is a Miguel Cabrera Topps 2004 opening day. So we got the 9.5, which I thought this card was pretty flawless. I get the centering off left to right probably wasn't ideal, which is probably what gave it the 9.5. But the corner and edge wear and surface wear seemed pretty solid. I'm pretty sure that's what got a 9.5. Tough to find comps because this is the opening day card. It's technically a second year card. So tough to find comps, but I was finding about 25 was my guess, just based off what the regular Topps 2004 flagship card was. So next I had to submit a Jordan. This is a 90-91 Hoops Michael Jordan MVP card. This came back a 9.5, which I was so disappointed this didn't come back a 10. I knew the centering was a little off, from a little more on the left than the right, but corners, edgeware was all sharp on it, and estimated value is about $45-ish. PSA would probably give you about 50 to 60, somewhere in there. Unfortunately, if this would have gotten the 10, this would have doubled to about, you know, 80, 90 bucks. But can't complain about any graded Jordan that gets above a 7, in my opinion. Obviously, this is not one of the more rare Jordan cards, but, you know, we'll take the 45 bucks that this card is worth. That's a 9.5 on it. So next we have another 75 Topps. This is a Bill Bradley for the Knicks, and this came back a 6, which I figured because I knew the centering was garbage, but Hall of Fame basketball player, vintage card. Couldn't really complain. Surface wasn't terrible either. I think the back wasn't as bad as the front, but I think a couple of the corner, like this corner, was a little rough, and then the top left corner was a little rough, which probably obviously didn't help it. But centering was the biggest issue here, which came back with the 6. And then the second last card we have, this is a 1975 Topps Joe Theismann. I was really happy this came back a 7.5. I was thinking this would be more of that 5 or 6 range. A little issue with that corner, but the centering was pretty solid for a 1970, you know, 5 card. I've seen plenty of 75 cards that are just ridiculously off center, and the back is pretty on point too. So top to bottom, not terrible, but left to right, I think that's what got it the 7.5, because the surface wear was pretty decent as well. And then lastly, I just sent in this 2010 Panini season update Kobe Bryant, and this came back our first Gem Mint 10 on the channel. Not a really rare card, but it was a great condition Kobe Bryant. I thought the centering was off a little left to right, but it must have been within their parameters. And estimated value on this one is hard to find comps on this card, but I was thinking it looked to be about 60 bucks. I think I missed the value on the Bill Bradley. This one's only going to be about a $15 card. And the Pete Maravich would only be about 20 bucks. And then the Joe Theismann's probably about a $60 card. And Bobby Orr is going to be about a $55 card. So between everything with the $115 order, we'll throw our Gem Mint Kobe front and center there. With being a $115 order, my estimated value of all 10 cards in the submission is about $420. If I'll list if I don't sell it beforehand to other people, I'll list everything on eBay at, estimated is $420, minus the $115 on the submission. That's $305 in potential profit. So not bad for first submission. The vintage did a lot better than I thought they would. And then, obviously I was hoping for all 10s on the modern. Got the 10 on the Kobe, was really hoping for the 10 on the MJ and the Miguel Cabrera. And I thought this was a slam dunk for a 10, but obviously got the 9. But overall, I'm pleased with the submission. Definitely going to be using them again. If I had more valuable cards than these, I would definitely probably send them maybe to, get PSA BGS or something like that. But just because of the name notoriety. But in order for companies like Electric Grading and other the smaller ones to become more reputable, you need, the more people send cards to get them graded, the more reputable they're going to be, because there's going to be more on the market. So overall, pleased with the submission. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you like more stuff like this or pack openings or what have you, please stay tuned for the next video, and we'll see you next time.